Good evening, good evening, good evening. Of course, that is if you are Eastern time zone. Of course, it's 5:05 Eastern Standard Time Zone. And of course, you are here with Coach Steele, Coach Steele's finance training. Happy to have you a part of the YouTube channel. And if you are just tuning in for the first time, or if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe to Coach Steele's finance training, and happy to have everyone here. I am the financial voice of the people. And if you don't know, you probably need to ask somebody. And so I'm happy to have you on here. Look forward to talking this evening about financial literacy. And so we'll cover a few things. And then after that, I'm going to get out your way. If you're busy cleaning, cooking, or whatever it is that you're doing, feel free to turn it on YouTube. I am live on YouTube and I am live on Facebook as well. And so I want to talk money and be interactive with our community, with our team today. So feel free to type in the comment section and leave some comments. Or if you have any questions, feel free to ask some questions as well. So let's get interactive and connect with one another. Of course, at Coach Steele's Finance Training, at this YouTube channel, once again, make sure you subscribe. Also, make sure you share and comment. And so I'm big on sharing this message about financial literacy. I'm very big on us getting the word out about what we need to do concerning financial literacy into our community, but it starts at home. And so as we do this, whether you want to call it a show, whether you want to call it a YouTube live, whatever it is to you, there's nothing wrong with gathering the family around and having this conversation together. Some of the things you probably wanted to talk about, but don't know how to present. Well, that's why you have me. Leave it to me. I'll bring those things up and we can talk about it together as a team. So let's huddle up today in Coach Steele's finance training and discuss a few topics. Now, just to recap, we've gone over a good number of things during the month of August. And during the month of August, we talked about Excel budget sheets, how to use them, how they're a great tool, good strategies to use with those Excel budget sheets. And I even did a YouTube video showing you how to use that Excel budget sheet. And if you wanted a copy, I told everyone just shoot me an email. And if you shoot me an email, and of course down there at the bottom of the screen in the ticker, you'll see my email address. If you shoot me an email, I will get you a copy of that Excel sheet as well. Right there at the bottom, it says email coachsteelefinance@gmail.com. coachsteelefinance@gmail.com. So make sure that you send me an email requesting that Excel sheet, and I'll make sure that you get it as well. Also, after we talked about Excel budget sheets, I also brought up the subject of how the electricity bills are at an all-time high right now. And so as we look at that, we see that in the past 2 months, many people have been experiencing electric bills that have been astronomical lately, higher than ever before. And so that is going to be a trend that continues to happen, which is why I wanted to talk about it. I want to talk about the things that directly affect us personally, those things that are unavoidable, those things that you have to deal with or else there's going to be a problem. Practical things that we can do, not complicated things, not how to get rich quick schemes, how to hit a home run and make $1 million in one day. There's nothing wrong with that if you can do it. But for the majority, for the masses, that may not happen. And so how do I deal with where you are right now so that you can eventually hit a home run and make $1 million in one day? And so when you get that $1 million, you'll know how to manage it. You'll know how to steward it properly and not manage it and lose it. And of course, we know the statistics on lottery winners and how they blow through their funds. And it comes with your money habits, your financial habits. And so on today, we're talking money. And I'm happy to have everyone that tunes in on today. We have a lot to cover today, and we're going to talk money. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to interject in our conversation, feel free to dive right on in there and we'll deal with it. And of course, I'll either give my opinion or try to point you in the right direction. So not only did we talk about budget sheets, we talked about electricity bills, and we also discussed some strategies and some things you can do to improve your electric bill. And also, if you missed any of this and you want to go back and watch it, go to the YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training, and all of those videos are in there. So you can look in videos, you can look in the lives, and if you go into the shorts, you'll see a lot of garden videos as well. And also, we discussed how bad do you want it yesterday. We talked about reaching your financial goals and how bad do you want it. What is motivating you and how do you push yourself to keep going no matter what to get to your financial goals. So you can always go back and watch all of those. And I do have a video coming up this week. I'll probably drop it Monday or Tuesday, and it will be a update about dividend stocks and my personal dividend stock portfolio that I did to demonstrate to everyone how easy it is to be able to create a dividend stock portfolio to make money. And so just keep that in mind, that you can tune in, tap in, and on Monday or Tuesday, if you're part of the YouTube channel, when I drop those videos on the YouTube channel, if you're subscribed, you will automatically get an alert every time I drop those updated videos. So I'm excited about the dividend stock portfolio video. It's going to be pretty interesting. I already did it, just waiting to upload it to YouTube. But it's going to show how all I did was put $25 into my dividend stock portfolio. And you're going to see from that video and the previous video how I am up over $400 and some from last month to this month, all from just depositing $25 into my dividend stock. So anyway, it's all there. It's all good evidence, and it'll be another short video to watch. Normally I do long ones, but that's probably a pretty short one. It might be around 7 or 8 minutes long. I went ahead and got right to the point. So also, just to show everyone, just in case you need to be able to see, let me show you a quick way. Let me share my screen. So if you're wondering about the YouTube channel, I will show you it real quick. So if you go to YouTube and you type in Coach Steele's Finance Training, if you type that in, and let me see if I can enlarge it a little because it looks a little small. Boom, there we go. That's nice. So if I enlarge it a little like that, you'll be able to see. All you have to do is type in Coach Steele's Finance Training, and then you'll be able to see all of these videos. How bad do you want it? About Americans living paycheck to paycheck and why, and what we can do to improve that situation. Excel budget sheet. So all of those videos that I talked about are all in here, and you have access to them, especially if you're a subscriber. You'll be able to see when all of these videos hit. And so feel free to go in there in those videos, locate your money part 1 and part 2. Feel free to dive in those videos and leave comments, depending on how they impact you, because I always respond to those comments in there as well. So keep that in mind. Hello, Miss Sam Smith. How are you doing? Happy to have you on today. I'm going to quit sharing my screen and I'll go back to our conversation today. Oh yeah, last thing. If you do like watching gardening videos as well, good evening to you, Mr. Tony Sherman. Happy to have you on board here. So if you do like gardening videos as well, you're going to see I have all type of videos from harvesting, what are those, peppers, cabbage. Let's see, keep going down the list. If my mouse allows me to, it's going a little slow. There we go. Peppers, cabbage, all type of different vegetables, raised garden beds, you name it. A lot of that is in here. There we go. I found it. So as we go through here, you'll be able to see a lot of those videos as well. So keep that in mind if you like gardening. Feel free to jump in the shorts there as well. Make sure you subscribe to Coach Steele's Finance Training. And now, back to our conversation today. Oh, and before I get to the conversation, talking about Let's Talk Money and any questions you have concerning money. Before I get to that, I want to remind everybody and let you know that I am around 279 subscribers on YouTube. I'm happy about it. I'm excited. It's pretty cool to be there. And of course, I want to celebrate with our team as we continue to huddle up. I want to celebrate with everyone. And I think a pretty cool, and this is just my opinion, a pretty cool way of celebrating everybody that tunes in and joins in is when we hit 300 subscribers, not just me, when we hit, because how can I hit 300 subscribers by myself? Impossible. I need the community, right? So when we hit 300 subscribers, what I want to do is a $50 giveaway, whether it's a $50 gift card or cash, doesn't matter to me, or whether I write a check. Either way, I'm giving away $50. And so when I give away this $50, it's going to be when we hit 300 subscribers. So everyone that is subscribed, you all have a chance at winning. And the cool part is we're about 21 people away. So I need you to share. I need you to get your family members, loved ones, friends, everybody, get them to subscribe so we can get to 300 and give this $50 away. And so it should be pretty interesting. I talk about financial literacy. I love giving. I love sharing with the community. And I do a lot of giving overseas as well in Cameroon. And so this will be pretty cool to be able to give back to the community that has given to me, which is your time, your attention, and desire to improve your financial situation. So I couldn't get to 300 subscribers, and I won't get there if I talk to myself. So it takes someone willing to listen. So now I will tell you this. When we do this $300 giveaway, $300 giveaway, not that. Sorry. When we do a $50 giveaway, I am going to have you, everyone who wants to qualify for this potential $50, I want you to email me at coachstillfinance@gmail.com, which of course you'll see it on the ticker at the bottom running. You have to email me. And when you email me, you need to email me the title of one of the videos on my YouTube channel. Now, of course, I just went on there and you saw different titles on there. Locate your money. 66% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck. Whatever it is, pick a title and make sure you email me at that email address with one of the titles of the videos, and I'll make sure I put your name in as one of the drawings for someone who could potentially win that $50. And of course, that also lets me know who's tuning in, who's listening, who's following directions. And so not many people do that in life, so someone's going to win probably easy $50. Next. All right, so we got that out of the way. And so when we talk about money, for each and every person, like I said, a few days ago, yesterday, I talked about how bad do you want it? You know, what are some of your financial goals? What are some of the things you want to accomplish? And I'm asking you this because most people have plans that they think are going to take 5 to 10 years. They're going to take 10 to 15 years and don't realize that there's new tools and options in place that don't take as long. There's new tools, plans, strategies, information, knowledge out there that you may be able to accomplish your goals so much more faster than what you thought in your head. So let's have a conversation real quick. What are your next goals? What are your financial goals? What are your short-term goals that you have planned? And what are some of your long-term goals? You can write them in the comment section on YouTube or on Facebook. What are some of those short-term and long-term financial goals that you have? What would I say some of my short-term financial goals are, or my long-term financial goals? I think I have a lot. Long-term, one of my long-term financial goals, I would say, is eventually to have at minimum, at least $20,000 of passive income every single month, no matter what. Not having to clock in anywhere. I at least want to have $20,000 of passive income no matter what. Okay, so we have Sam. Sam said that one of her goals, not sure if it's long-term or short-term, but one of her goals is real estate. And so, of course, I love real estate. I love real estate a lot. And so the cool thing about real estate, it can be a short-term and a long-term goal. So I'll put you under both. Because, Sam, your goals might be short-term, you want some real estate, and later on, you want some real estate as well. And so when it comes to that, it is not as difficult as people make it to be. That's what I'm talking about. She says short term. It's not as difficult as people make it to be. I remember when I bought my first house and I didn't know what to do, and I'm going through all these different steps. I'm like, okay, what does this paperwork mean? What does this document mean? What is this? And I had this real estate agent just kind of have me go through the process. And so much was happening at a young age. I think I was probably 24. Yeah, I was probably around 23 or 24 when I bought my first house. And so it was all kind of a blur. And at the end of the day, I do remember in this, it wasn't as complicated as I thought. It wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. And then later on, I went on to buy more houses and more houses and more houses. And now the process is pretty simple. It doesn't take long at all. You know, it could take 2 months to close on a house, or if you give it the right broker, they might be able to do it in 1 month. If you got your paperwork, documents, information, everything in place, they can close on that thing in about a month. So technology is amazing, and people and technology can move documents and information much faster than ever before. And so definitely, I'm excited for you, Sam. I do believe you'll accomplish that goal. And when you get that real estate, I want you to come back and let us know. And so we'll probably have some type of conversation about it. So I'm definitely excited for you. I know you'll get there. Tony Sherman, his goal is save $50,000. Now, I love that goal because one is not complicated at all. That'll happen in no time. And another cool thing about saving $50,000 with everything going on in the marketplace and learning how to use the right financial vehicles, saving $50,000 won't be as difficult as probably what it used to be. And so the cool thing about it is, for example, before, let's say you try to save $50,000 under your mattress at the house. Okay, you're going to have to save the full $50,000. So let's say you were to put that $50,000 in a checking account, Tony. Well, then, of course, now you're going to have to save the full $50,000. You put it in a low interest savings account. Maybe it'll make a few pennies, a few dollars here and there. Maybe like if you're working on saving $50,000, when you finally get to 50, you might make maybe $9 a month off of it. But what my point is, now with a high yield interest savings account. And what is a high yield interest savings account? A high yield interest savings account, with that, now Tony can actually take his income, take that money every month that he saves it, and put it in a high yield interest savings account that's making around 4.5%, 5%. If you don't know about a high yield interest savings accounts, Tony, don't worry about it. I got you covered. I'll send you some information. So now with that high yield interest savings account, check this out. Now, Tony, let's say he gets to $15,000 a month. Not a month. He's got the $15,000 in his high yield interest savings account. He's trying to get to that $50,000 mark. Well, at $15,000, if you're making about 5%, that's like $62, $63 a month. So not only does he have $15,000 in there that he put in there, but now he's also got $15,063. The next month, he's not only going to get 5% interest on the $15,000, but now the balance is $15,063. So now they're going to give him 5% on the new balance. So by the time he gets to $50,000, he didn't have to grow the whole 50 on his own. He allowed his money to work for him. And I love that example because I'm getting excited about money. Let me calm down. I like that example because it's a small sample size example of how you can let your money work for you so you don't have to do everything financially on your own. You can put your money to work. And so that's what we want to do. You want to develop a mentality of how can I let my money work for me? How can I let my asset, because money, currency is one of the asset classes. How can I let this money work for me to my benefit to grow? So Tony doesn't even have to save the full $50,000 because now he's under the knowledge that I can get a high yield interest savings account. Check this out, guys. Most people, of course, back in the day when I was younger, one of the coolest and safest places for us to deposit our money was in a CD. What does the CD stand for? Anybody know what the word CD, not word, but the acronym CD stands for? Do we know what CD stands for? If you know what CD stands for, let me know. And of course, I will definitely send you that info, Samantha. And of course, I always tell everybody, and I send everybody reference to this email address. So in case I do forget something or we do have a conversation on here, you can always feel free to email me at coachsteelefinance@gmail. And of course, I have to check those emails and make sure that I get back with you. Yes, Mr. Tony, boom, just like that. Certificate of deposit. When I was young, I thought a CD was like one of the coolest things I could get and invest in. I think I was around 21. I was getting ready to go in the military. Now I was already in the military and I had an extra $1,000 and I put it in a CD. I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to be rich. I thought this CD was going to get me to where I needed to be. And I kept my money in that CD and I kept it rotating and flipping for a good while because I knew I was going to eventually get out of the military. And I had this plan. You got to remember, I was 21. So my plan was if I let this CD build up for 6-7 years while I'm in the military, I would be able to take all the money out that CD and that would be part of my financial exit strategy as I left the military. And so when it comes to that, I was limited in my knowledge. I was limited in what I knew. So therefore, I thought I had a plan. Now, of course, life happened and 3 kids later and all that good stuff. Something happened while I was in the military. And I think at that point, it had gotten up to around $7,000 or $8,000. And me and my wife needed to get something done, something fixed. And I had to pull the money out the CD and take care of what I needed. So my exit strategy to get out of the military with that CD, it failed, didn't work. What is my point? You know, nowadays, a CD, a bank will give you like 4%, 5% on a CD. So what am I telling you? When we talk about the high yield interest savings accounts, right? And you talk about whether or not you should get a CD, a high yield interest savings account can give you just as much interest as the average CD. But what is the difference? The difference is a CD locks up your money. It's whether it's 7 months, whether it's a year, whatever that agreement is, the CD is locked up. You shouldn't have, you still could get your money out, but it'll come with penalties. It'll come with consequences if you pull your money out before that term. But a high yield interest savings account, you're getting the same interest as this CD, except you still have access to the money if you need it. So I don't really think about putting my money in CDs anymore because a high yield interest savings account does the same exact thing, but I have more flexibility. And I know I keep saying like, you can get on average about 5% APY, annual percentage yield. But the cool thing about it is there's a bank out there. You don't have to believe me. Anything I say, do your own research and get with your financial advisor and your tax preparers and CPAs and everyone else that's necessary. Always get with them, double check, make sure my information or what you're going to do financially works best for you with a professional. Now, there's a bank out there that is doing 7% interest. A high yield interest savings account that is doing 7%. It's crazy. But anyway, that's another story. So just to let you know, 4.5% to 5% is very realistic. It's very possible. And so when it comes to that, just keep in mind getting to $50,000 when, of course, if you're younger and you're just starting to make money, it seems difficult. It seems mission impossible, but it's not difficult. And of course, like I said, on Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to drop the video about my dividend stock portfolio where you can see all I did was deposit into my dividend stock portfolio $25. And from last month, July to August, it has increased by over $400. And so you'll get to see that video. So make sure you do subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way, as videos drop on the YouTube, you're able to see them as they drop. And Sam asked, what is the minimum deposit for that bank? If you open up a savings account at a bank, I don't think they'll have a minimum deposit. Who knows? Maybe it's $5, but I don't think most of those high yield interest savings account banks, they don't have minimum deposits. You can start with whatever you choose to start with. So next, I'm going to talk about, as we talk about the subject today, about talking money. And of course, if you have questions, feel free to throw them in there. We had, the one for at 7%, there is no minimum deposit. And it's interesting. I did my research on that bank, and I have to go back and find the bank name and all that. I do research on this stuff. I find it, I see what it's about. And the only thing, here's the kicker with that bank. They do 7%. They do 7% up to $9,999. And so they're out of state. I can't remember if it was in Louisiana or Alabama, but they're out of state, out of the state of Georgia, and they do 7%, but only up to $9,999. So if you have more than that, then once you get past that $9,999, then the rest of it is at a lower rate. So that's the part that I didn't care for. Yeah, I could go ahead and put $9,999 and sit it over there and then put the rest somewhere in a 5%. But I wanted it all to grow together in one big pile, not separated and limited to being just under $10,000. So anyway, Sam, so I don't forget, make sure you write down my email address and let me know what you're requesting and what you're asking for, just in case my brain decides to do something different from what I said. And also, so we've also talked about strategies to stay in budget, and I'll give a few examples of some of the things that I've done and strategies that I've used to stay in budget. And of course, as I get ready to tell those things, feel free to dive in. You might be able to help somebody. And like, what are some of your strategies? If you're listening, what are some of the things you do that help you stay on budget from month to month? Because you really have to have a plan nowadays. If you don't have a strategy to stay in budget every month, then what's going on financially is going to mess you up. You'll get caught in a whirlwind. You'll get caught up. Your finances, your budget will be thrown off if you don't have some type of strategy. I remember in my 20s, I used to listen to Dave Ramsey a lot. And so when I used to listen to Dave Ramsey, I remember him talking about this thing called the envelope system. Has anybody heard about the envelope system? And has anybody ever tried to actually use it? Have you heard about the envelope system? And have you tried to use it? Feel free to leave your response in the comment section. Have you heard about the envelope system, and have you ever tried it? So I learned about the envelope system, and I actually tried it. And so the envelope system, I think, is best to use. I can't say best to use. I used it. Let's see, not tried to use it. Sam says she's not tried to use it. Yvette Steele, welcome to Coach Steele's finance training. I don't know, might be somebody I'm related to. Got the same last name. Never know. Small world. Let's see. All right, we got Tony Sherman. He's saying yes as well. And so when we look at it and we look at the envelope system, when we used it in the past, okay, I'm about to be in trouble. When my wife and I, Yvette, still used it in the past, what ended up happening, we used it when it came to groceries. So let's say at this time, and this is probably back in 2005, 6, somewhere back then, and we were working on paying off our first house and being debt-free and all that good stuff. Because we at that time probably had at least about $50,000 in debt and a mortgage and all that good stuff going on. So anyway, let's say we estimated $700 is what we spend on groceries. at Walmart or wherever we shop. We took that $700, whatever that estimate was, and we put it in the envelope. That's back when a lot of people would carry cash. Like, it was normal back in the day to have cash on you, and it wasn't so much debit card heavy, credit card heavy yet. It was transitioning there, but most people still would carry cash on them. And Tony says he did it in 2000. So we put this $700 in the envelope. Every time, not some of the time, when we ran the envelope system, every single time, every single time we would take the envelope, the money, we would not go grocery shopping with our debit cards or with the credit card. We're strictly going off of what we estimated we would spend. And by putting that money in an envelope, we knew we were going to stay within our financial budget for our groceries, because we were not going to spend any more than what was in that envelope. So now you're committed. The cash is in there. Whenever we went to the store and we buy whatever we want, boom, we look in the envelope. Now we're pulling out cash. And of course, back in the day, they said there was something psychologically, swiping a card, you're more likely to spend more. But when you pull the cash out and you have to give it away, you're less likely to spend as much, because there's a deeper and closer connection. There's some type of psychological thing behind that. Of course, everybody that's just tuning in, I appreciate you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. We're going to run it up. I need everybody to continue to tune in. Make sure you share this information. When we get to 300 subscribers, which will be very soon, we're going to do a $50 giveaway. If you need to know the instructions on how all of that's going to work, when we get off, this video will be saved on YouTube, Coach Steele's Finance Training. So make sure you go back and watch the beginning so you know how you can qualify for the $50 giveaway. Now, so every time we went to the store, we used this envelope. And as the month went by, you see the amount decrease, and you're still paying your other bills and things as usual. Like Tony Sherman mentioned, one of the things he did to make sure he maintains his budget was, I think in one of the comments, he said that I thought he said he puts them on auto, what is it called? Not auto pay. I'll find it in a second. Auto pay bills. So that's one of the things he does. So you're still paying your other bills and doing what you need to do, but you're using this envelope every time you go to the store. And so we go from 700 down to 500, down to 400. You get close towards the end of the month. And so what we found was, starting this process, we would pretty much come about even, and we were doing well. So through the envelope system, we were always on budget, but we kept getting better at it. The next month, envelope system, take the cash, put it in the envelope. We're going to the store. We're buying groceries. We're buying food. We're buying whatever we need. But then we started shopping wiser. We started being more strategic. Okay, well, I really don't need this. Well, we can hold off from getting that. What we need is this. This is priority. And so it came towards the end of the month. And then all of a sudden, we got an extra $20. Another month. Oh, wow, wait a minute. We got extra $50. We're getting better at shopping and not spending all the money in this envelope. So think about this. If you're trying to get rid of other debt and other bills, but you're still paying for all the other necessities, the things that you need in life, and now I got an extra $50 left over from groceries, I can take that $50 and put it on the credit card I'm trying to get rid of. I can take that $50 and get rid of and pay down the loan I'm trying to get rid of faster. Now I'm being more strategic and disciplined with my grocery shopping. It's having an effect on me being able to pay other bills and knock other things out faster. And so as that cycle continued, I would use the strategy of the envelope system to tighten up and to improving my budget. And Yvette also mentioned something else we did. Yes, we used coupons. Now, that's a whole nother story, because now, well, I was kind of doing a little old school, because I'm getting the newspaper and I'm cutting out coupons, right? And then Yvette starts realizing that some coupons are digital. So she took it a whole nother level. She's getting all the digital coupons and going in the store, being able to use those as well. And so coupons helped us out a lot as well. And then eventually a lot of them went digital as well. We use that plenty of times as well. But if you're going to use coupons as a strategy to save yourself money, you need to be synchronized. You need to be patient. You need to be organized. That's what I meant. And be able to time it effectively as well. Of course, I do know this one lady who is a coupon genius. She's off the chain. And so actually, it'd be cool to have her on here and do a show about couponing as well. So who knows? We may do that. And one of the things, another strategy that Tony Sherman says that he used, that he shares, is pay credit card balance in full before the due date every month. Listen, what Tony just said, I believe I repeat that statement every single day, at least 4 to 6 times a day, Monday through Friday. That is a phrase that I'm constantly telling clients all the time. And why is Tony saying that? Because if you pay that credit card balance off in full before the charge date, before that credit card company can charge you any interest on that date, you'll never have to pay interest on your credit card balance if you pay it off in full before that charge date. So that helps you with your budget. Why? Because if the bank isn't charging you interest, it's as if you paid it same as cash. So therefore, you didn't have to lose any money. And this is something I've been talking about, guys, because there are people, unfortunately, not pointing the finger or picking on anybody, so take it in the right context. There are people who are paying interest on their groceries from July. There are people that are still paying interest on their groceries from January, February, March, April, May, June, because they're using credit cards and they're not able to pay them off in full before this charge date, like Tony Sherman is talking about. And then because of that, hey, appreciate you tuning in. Janea, Garrett, appreciate you tuning in. Happy to have you here. Love you. And hope you're doing well and all that good stuff. Shout out to you. So, guys, as you pay those credit cards off before the charge date every month, the banks can never charge you interest. But here's the kicker. Here's the beautiful part about it that I like. And keep in mind, I'm not a huge proponent. I'm not telling everybody to go get a credit card, because if you don't have discipline, if you aren't responsible, then you probably shouldn't be using a credit card at all. You shouldn't use it or don't need to. But if you have a certain level of discipline, by all means, go ahead if you know what you're doing. But just keep in mind, if you don't have that discipline, then those credit cards can come back to bite you. Appreciate you tuning in, Miss Gypsy Tart. Tell Mr. Tart I said hello. And so we are talking about money. And if you have comments, if you have questions, if you have thoughts, feel free to throw them in the comment section. We're going to have a conversation. I am live on YouTube and I am live on Facebook. If you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to Coach Steele's Finance Training. We're going to run it up. We're going to get to 300 subscribers, and then we're going to give away $50. And if you want to qualify for the $50, make sure when we get off, you go back and watch this video, so you'll know what you need to do to qualify for that $50. Now, also, so we're talking about envelope system. We're talking about paying off those credit cards. We're talking about strategies that we use every month to help us with our budget. Another thing I like about that credit card strategy, Tony, is because I use a credit card strategically every month and pay it off before the charge date, I am constantly racking up reward points. And so if I want to travel somewhere, let's say I want to travel to Columbia, South Carolina to go watch the Gamecocks play. Whenever I go, I know I'm not paying for a hotel room because I've racked up so many hotel points that it's going to be free by the time I take my wife there to go catch a game. So not only do I not pay the bank any interest, but I make money off of them. So when I travel, I'm not paying for a hotel room for a day or two. So guess what? That might save me I don't know, anywhere between $150 to $300 that I was going to spend anyway wherever I was going to travel. So if I got an extra $200, $300 when I go traveling now because the hotel room is free, then I can ask Yvette and I can say, okay, what you want? What you want to do? What you need? Because I strategically used a financial tool that the bank was going to use to take money from me. I use it to get money from them. And so I flip it. Anytime I'm dealing with financial weapons, financial tools, I always flip it to benefit me and not the bank. It's got to be some type of reciprocity. It's got to, okay, I can use your product, but how does it benefit me? It can't be one-sided. And so, yes, Tony, you can also get cash back rewards on those credit cards as well. But you all have to be careful. Like, once again, disclaimer, if you're going to use a credit card, don't get excited about the cash back rewards of $30. But if you're paying them $60 in interest on the month, then when you cancel that out, the bank is still up $30 on you. So always make sure, like Tony mentioned, you're paying that credit card off before the charge date of every month. And if you don't know what day that is, it's simple. All you got to do is either look on your documents, your paperwork, or log in to your credit card website. And you got to take your time, look through there, because they probably wrote it in a small spot where it's difficult to see. And if that doesn't work, you can always call them and say, hey, I'm trying to figure out what day are y'all charging me interest on this balance. And so you can call and ask that as well. I've done all of them because sometimes I just like to double check and make sure, because I don't want to give my money away to them unnecessarily. So when we're talking money today, we are talking about strategies and things that help you stay within budget. And of course, you can feel free to comment in that comment section some of the things you do, whether it'll help me or whether it'll help someone else. Some of the things you do that help you stay in your budget, some strategies and things that you do to help you stay on pace. We've talked about the envelope system and how, of course, that envelope system, and not only just to save money, but also to make you money. So think about this. Now, I just talked about the envelope system and how we perfected it to where there was money left over at the end of the month. So we had some options with that, right? Let's say there's $50 left over, and every month we're putting $700 into the envelope. If there's money left over, y'all remember we had those phones where it had like rollover minutes. There were some months where, let's say we want to eat a little bit more, we'll be able to buy something else. We'll roll that $50 or that $20 over into the envelope for the next month. So now we're still in budget, and instead of $700 a month now I can use, we got $750 to work with. And so it became pretty cool because it was like we could reward ourselves by rolling it over into the next month to have a little extra. Or like I mentioned before, we take that extra and we go knock out another bill or whatever. So we're eating, we're getting all the basics that we need, all of our necessities, and we're eliminating debt. And if you don't have debt, then now you can use that $50 to put into your IRA account. You can use it to increase what you're having going into your 401k or whatever type of savings that you have. Discipline is key with the right mindset. And that's all it takes. It takes being willing to be disciplined, being willing to be focused, to have a plan that you write out. I always tell everyone, get it from up here and put it on some type of document, paper, Excel sheet, digital, whatever you need to do. Put your plan in a place that you can see it, read it, look at it, check on the progress of it, all that good stuff. It'll help you and it'll take you a long way. So as we continue to move forward and we're talking about different strategies to help you financially, if I make an extra $50, save an extra $50 a month, that gives me some extra money that I can put away and invest. And so now I can, before some people say, well, I don't feel like I have enough money at the end of the month to put in some type of retirement or some type of savings. Well, once you're, and this is so amazing, God, listen to what I'm saying. It is not complicated to use the banks to your advantage. Some of the things that you feel you can't do, the bank probably has some type of setup or situation or opportunity to create that you can do what you want to do when you couldn't. I'll give an example. I know there's one couple that I'm working with, and they're clients of mine. They use this credit card for majority of the month, pay their bills, right? They always pay them off before that charge date. And they make about $60 a month in cashback rewards, about $60 a month in cashback rewards. Now we know over a year's period of time frame, that's like over $300. So there's some people, they say, well, I don't have enough money left over at the end of the month to put away into my IRA or into my savings. Well, think about this. If you got cashback rewards, $50 to $60 coming every month, when you get that $50 to $60 from using that credit card, and you personally didn't even have money to put away for savings or retirement, take the bank's money, those cashback rewards, and put it in your savings. Take that bank's money and put it into a retirement account. So now the bank can fund your future. The bank can fund your emergency fund. Just like I was talking with Tony Sherman earlier, now you can get a high yield interest savings account, put the money in there to build up to your 50,000. But let's say you're getting cashback rewards. Now I'm going to throw that in there with the 5% interest, with my money growing as well. And so now it's a group effort. The bank with the high yield interest is giving me money, and the credit card, whatever financial institution that is giving me money as well. Guess what? I'm going to get to my $50,000 goal. And I personally didn't even have to give the full 50 to get there. The bank helped me get there as well, because I used the bank's financial tools as a weapon to help me fight to get to where I'm going. That's good right there. And so we always have to be strategic with using what the bank has for our benefit. Why? Because the bank is always going to use what they have for their benefit as well. The bank provides a service. The bank works for you. So it should benefit you. But at the same time, there are benefits for the banks taking our money. There's benefits to the bank receiving new money, because it's an opportunity for them, if they choose to take those new deposits, to take that fresh income and be able to make money off of it. So they provide a service by housing and keeping your money, but also there's some advantages for them, because they can loan your money out. And if they're paying you 1% interest, or if they're paying you 5% interest, if they loan that money out at 8% interest, then they pay you back your 1% or 5%, and they keep the arbitrage. They keep the difference, and they put it in their pocket. So the banks make money off of your money. So you have to make sure you're using their weapons to benefit you as well. Next. So we've already talked about, electric bill awareness and things like that. Another thing I did years ago, and I'm happy I did, and I know everyone can't do this, and I'm not telling you to do it, but one thing I did was I actually got rid of cable, and I went and got a Fire Stick. And there's so many streaming services. There's so many streaming services out there that you can use, guys. Like, it's crazy that you really don't have to pay for 100, 200 channels. Those streaming services out there got, they'll give you like 1,000 channels plus. And so I got rid of cable a while back. And of course that reduced my cable bill / Wi-Fi. You know how they wrap everything all up, so you get rid of one or two things, and it reduces the bill by a little bit. So that's something else that I did as well along the way. Also, once again, when you're trying to figure out your budget, when you're trying to figure out what you have coming in every month, another thing that can help you is look at your bank statements as how your job paid you, how much they paid you, and then also go online, log in, and look at what's coming out of your salary when they pay you. Look out how much is going for health benefits. Look how much is going towards your 401k. Know your numbers. Know exactly how much is going out and why, and what the benefit of that is. Oh, this is good right here. I think I'm going to sit right here for a minute. So let's deal with like the theory and the subject of 401ks. Y'all rock with me for 2 seconds. Sam said, I only have internet because of work. Nothing wrong with that. So Think about this. A 401k is a retirement account that most people have at a job, or if they switch to another job, then they will, of course, roll money over to the next one. However it is, let's say you have a 401k, right? And most people may put money into that 401k 20, 30 years, whatever it is, to prepare for retirement. My question to anyone who can answer this for me, and make sure you're sharing, make sure you tag other people into this. This will be a great conversation to have. I wish we had like 200-300 people tuning in right now. This would be an amazing conversation to have about 401ks. After you put money into a 401k retirement account, whether it's 20 years, 30 years, 15 years, when it is time to draw from it, let's say you're whatever that period is, 59 and a half, whatever the requirements are, where you can finally start receiving distributions from your 401k. You've contributed, you gave contributions. Now it's time to receive distributions from the 401k, right? Everybody's tuning in. What amount, what is the percentage that you can draw from your 401k annually? That's my question. What percentage can you draw from your 401k annually? Let me see if I can type that out correctly. Let's see. What percentage can you draw from your, what on average, yeah, I'll put it that way. What on average is the percentage that people draw from their 401k annually? There we go. I put it in the chat on Facebook. Okay. On average, what is the amount that people draw from their 401k annually? We got one response that says 10%. Let's see. What do people believe on average? Let's see. Where's Dejan when I need him? Wish Dejan was listening in. I would love his input on here, but if I had an extra phone, I'd probably call him real quick, get his input. Anybody else besides Tony? Tony says 10%. What percent, what on average is the amount that people draw from their 401ks annually? Anybody else? Anybody else got a guess? Anybody besides Tony? What is the advised amount? What is the estimate amount? What is the average amount that people draw from their 401k on average annually? Let's see if we can look it up. Let me see if I can share my screen and we can look this up together. Because I'm going to get to a point, and I want everyone to be able to see the answer to this. Let's see. It's the question. This is going to be so good. This is the question that most people need an answer to. So many people have 401ks, and I don't think many people have thought about how much they want to draw from it annually, because a 401k is your retirement plan that you have. And so a 401k is different from someone who retired from the military. So let's say somebody retired, did 20 years in the military. So they're receiving the same amount every month. It doesn't stop. It never depletes. It never goes away, right? But a 401k, as you keep drawing from that amount, it can slowly deplete and go to zero. Oh, Sam has to be the nerd and go find the answer. Thanks a lot. I know she Googled that, but I ain't mad at you. All right. So this is interesting because, you can kind of choose what percentage you want to draw annually, but, you have to take into account how long you want it to last and all that good stuff. And as it slowly depletes, that amount slowly depletes, it's going to have an effect on how much money you have left over as you continue to live. She said, and you know it. So this is the point. This is what I want to get to. This is exactly what I want to get to. And that's why I said this is so, so important. And so many people need to tune into this and know this information so bad. Because if you're going to draw 3%, oh, this is good. I'm sorry, 4%. I'm going to share my screen real quick to show you all that Sam knows what she is talking about concerning this. So as you see my screen, and let me see how big it's going to be because I need to make sure I enlarge it if they don't make it big enough. Yeah, I'll make it a little bit bigger. All right, so Sam is correct. It's saying on average about 4%. You can withdraw about 4% of your retirement portfolio in the first year. And of course, as you continue. So if the goal is, if they're saying you should only draw maybe like 4%, think about it. This is what I want you to think about. How much does the average person have in their 401k? Here's the next question. On average, because we want to figure out what 4% is, right? We want to know what is the amount. If I go off of 4%, if I put money in there 20 years, 30 years, or however long we put it in, on average, the average person, y'all, this is why I like Coach Steele's finance training, because no one's going to talk to us about this. People aren't going to have this conversation. They want you to calm down. So we put our money into the stock market. We put our money into these places, but then we need to know the results. What are the consequences? What are the benefits? What happens for us when we take this action? So for every action, there's a what? Opposite and or equal reaction. I don't know if that's right, but it sounded good. So as we talk about it, on average, how much do people have when they get ready to retire? About average, what is the average balance in a 401k? In America, what is the average balance of a 401k? I'm gonna look that up too. This is so good. Oh my gosh, this is good. This is so good for our people, our community, everyone that's tuning in. Coach Steele's Finance Training. Make sure you subscribe. And as you continue to tune in, I'm going to, thank you, Mr. Sherman. Okay. All right. Okay. So we got a good range. We got a good ballpark. Okay. All right. So let me get a calculator. This is good. And so as you're listening in today, some of y'all that are listening in, you're going to see why I'm like so passionate about this. And it's because I see and understand what's going on with our community here with Coach Steele's Finance Training, everyone that's tuning in, everybody that's listening in. Of course, Tony Sherman wrote 120,000. Sam wrote about 100,000. So you see they're very, very close in range. And that's for a reason. And so you got to think about it. When they say the average person has anywhere between 100 to 120,000 in a 401k, you got to now start looking at who those people are who have the 120 to 100. You got to think about now the statistics, it changes, because now we're talking about men, we're talking about women, we're talking about your race, your culture, all of that. It's a whole nother dynamic. If you were to say, how much do women have? Or how much do minority women? How much do men have? All of the averages change. So let's go off of 120, best case scenario. but not best case scenario, but let's go off the average of 120. And I wonder if I can share my screen on this calculator. Let's see. I'm not the best in the world when it comes to this tech stuff. But let's see. I don't think I can. I don't see where I can share the calculator as bad as I want to. But anyway, so I won't. I'll just do it on my own. I usually have a calculator around me. Here it is. And my question to you all is, if you're going to, on average, the average person has 120,000 in their 401k, keep in mind that means there are some people that have less than, and there are a few people that might have a little more, but let's deal with the average. So if let's say it is 120,000, what is 4% of 120,000? Average 401k balance. What is 4% of that average balance of 120,000? What's 4%? Anybody know what 4% is? Let's see here. Let me go back. Anybody know what 4% of 120,000 is? So y'all going to be able to go to work and be around different people, different environments, and educate someone so they'll know what they're working with. They'll know and have a realistic plan. Because think about it. Somebody's planning on retiring. They say, I got $120,000 in my 401k. I'm set. Okay, what does that mean, though? I got $200,000 in my 401k. I'm getting ready to retire in 2 years. Okay, what does that mean? How much money are you going to be receiving? So let's say it's 120,000. 120,000 times 4%. Lord have mercy. Jeez. Tony guessed about 3,000, and that's not far off. You probably can't see this, but this says 4,800. So 4% is 4,800. So now you divide that by 12 because you want to receive monthly money from your retirement account. And if you divide 4,800 by 12, what do we get? $400. So you mean to tell me the average person is going to have 120,000 in their 401k. They're planning to retire 4% on average. It's potentially $4,800 divided by 12, $400 a month. Who knows how to survive off of $400 a month? I want to meet this person. It's not many people who can. There's few who can, who live off the land. But who knows how to, on average, to survive off of that 401k, paying them $400 a month? Not to mention that it is possible that that $400 a month that you receive is taxable. When you withdraw your money from your 401k, Uncle Sam sees that as taxable. You're right, Tony. So if you plan on retiring off of $120,000 in your retirement plan, you need to plan and study the life of possibly cavemen. And so they figured it out a long time ago. I don't know if you want to go that route, but just keep that in mind. A lot of people don't know it. And so even if you didn't do 4%, let's say, okay, well, I'm not going to draw 4%. I'm going to draw 6%. Or you know what? Here's a great example. Tony Sherman, he used the example, okay, you get 10%. So 120,000, let's say you go extreme. Let's say you get 10%. Okay, 10% of 120,000 is 12,000, right? So, okay, divide that by 12. And so if you have a 401k and you got $120,000 in it, that's $1,000 a month. Once again, now you're pulling 10%. That's a lot. So it's slowly depleting. Don't know how long it's going to last, but now 120,000 may not be enough. What is my point? Well, I have a few points. Don't know if I'll get to all of them. But my point to everyone is you can't solely rely on a 401k plan if it doesn't have the right amount in it to give you a monthly distribution to help you maintain your lifestyle. There's a lot that comes into prepping and preparing for retirement. There's a lot that comes into it. And of course, when Tony and Sam were coming up with those numbers, just know they're looking up, estimates. And on average, some people have a little more, some people will have a little less. So just keep that in mind. And I'll give you an example. This one right here said on average about 112,000. And so talking about, what people have on average. And so that's just one estimate. I'll stop sharing that. I'll go back. We already saw and showed on another page where most people are advised to only pull about 4% out. So we realize 120,000 is just not enough. But then how much is enough? And that's what you have to realize. Let's say, okay, there's someone, they got $500,000 in there. So let's say they save $500,000. Yes, you get it, Sam. That's my point. You hit the nail on the head. I want to retire in 4 years, and I got to shift gears. That's why I'm on YouTube and Facebook, Coach Steele's Finance Training, yelling from the mountaintops. Because, Sam, they keep saying, well, not keep saying, it's just statistics that they're reading off. And they're saying that most people are not prepared for retirement and minority women are least prepared for retirement. Well, most people are least prepared for retirement because they're not educated and they don't have the information to realize what they need to prepare for retirement, how much it's going to cost to retire, what retirement looks like for you, what activities you're trying to do. What do I need every month to maintain my lifestyle? Is my mortgage going to be paid off? Of course, if you get with Coach Steele and I give you information, if you do have a mortgage and you do need guidance and help with all of that, get with me. And of course, we can sort out the rest of that and get you information if you do currently have a mortgage. All of this stuff you have to figure out. And the reason why I talk about getting rid of debt, it's easier to retire comfortably if you don't have a pile of personal debt. So now when you get your retirement check, when you get your income and potentially it might be fixed, that's a whole nother story. It's not going out to debt. It's not going off to pay debt. It's not going off to pay mortgage and credit cards and personal loans and car notes and all that other stuff. And you can't even live off of your retirement, especially if you only have 120,000 and you're pulling 4% out. But if someone has $500,000 in their 401k and they pull out annually 4%, that is $20,000. So now the person has $500,000 in their retirement account. If they pull out 4%, that's $20,000 for the year. That may still be difficult to live off of $20,000 for the year. So now they're pulling out basically $1,667 a month from $500,000. That doesn't make any sense to me. That makes no sense to me. Why would I save up $500,000 just to only be able to potentially draw maybe $2,000 a month, and then it's taxable? How much is it going to be taxed? How much does Uncle Sam take out of that? We got to be realistic with retirement, and that's why I keep talking to people about developing passive income, finding other creative ways to invest your money so that you can have money coming in whether you're clocking in or not. Anyway, I'll deal with 401ks on another day, and I'll keep harping about it so that people can open up their eyes and figure out how to prepare for retirement effectively. So once again, as you continue to tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, I appreciate everyone tuning in. I appreciate everyone who's actively involved in communicating and talking about reaching our financial goals, what we need to do to reach them. Sam talked about it, shifting gears, having to make adjustments and be creative with it. And Sam, you hit the nail on the head earlier. One of your goals with diving into real estate, that's another beautiful benefit of passive income. If you do have rental properties, if you do have investment properties, whether they're short term with Airbnbs, whether they're long term, long holds, rental income is another way to make passive income. So it is another way to make money, whether you're awake or whether you're asleep or whether you're getting ready to wake up. Tenants, renters will pay you money for your product. So you provide a place for them to live. They pay you rent for it. And of course, you still pay whatever expenses, overhead, whatever you need to pay, and you keep the difference. Yes, I'm able to speak with you offline one day, definitely. And so, guys, it's important that you find creative ways to make passive income. And like I mentioned before, and I show people different things. I talk about real estate. That's one way to make passive income. Another young man that I know, he's always talking to people about ETFs and investing into the stock market and things like that. And so that's why on Monday or Tuesday, it'll probably be Monday, that's why I'm going to drop that video about dividend stocks, because it shows people another creative way on how to make money. And I was actually going to show you, I might not be able to do it. Let's see. Okay, so this video is about dividend stocks right here. Might have messed that up. And let's see. I don't want the sound. But you're going to see an example on here. This dividend stock, it's going to say, $5,017 on it, right? And so this is the video I'm going to drop on Monday or Tuesday, because now it doesn't say $5,017. This was from last month, where I made this video last month, 1 month ago. Now, when I drop the video on Tuesday or Monday, it's going to show where it says 5,400 and something. And all I did was contribute $25 from last month to this month. And what is happening there? Basically, investing in the stock market strategically with dividend stocks. Not only am I making dividends monthly, small amounts right now, which the video will show. And if you're subscribed to Coach Steele's Finance Training, when that video drops, you'll get notified about it. But I am also up about $400 in on that investment from 1 month to the next. And so I did that by allowing my money to work for me. So my money is growing in a dividend stock portfolio. And I'm using a small example to show everyone how easy it is. I'm putting $25 a month into that dividend stock portfolio, and it continues to grow. I'm profitable. I'm up. So anyway, where were we? So we were talking about our money, our goals, strategies, things that that we have in place. And I'm excited because we have a lot of young people who are focused, not just our older crew, but we have a lot of young people that are focused and that I get to mentor and work with one-on-one, who are focused on improving their financial situation, because I want to see people and younger people that come after us do way better than us, to be able to take it to a whole nother level. But it starts with us setting the example and giving them the information, telling them the right steps we made. If you made a detour, and I can't say necessarily take the wrong step, but if you took a different path and it wasn't the best route, be able to share that information as well. Tony said, I shifted gears looking at money differently back in 2000. 2000, that was an interesting year, 2000. I was in my second year of college, Tony, back in 2000. So I was definitely not managing money well back then. I was scraping by with what I had. So anyway, guys, as we continue to make progress, We have to be able to take the right steps with our money. Let's see. Next, we already talked about cutting off cable, electric bills, checking your pay stubs, not pay stubs, checking your pay, what's coming, what's going out, where's your money going to. We talked about whether it's your health plan, whether it's money that goes to your 401k, find out how much Uncle Sam is pulling out every month, find the best strategy and option on how to do your taxes as well. Also, even entrepreneurs, if any entrepreneurs are listening in, if you have your own business, whether you're providing a service or whether you're selling a product, same thing goes for us entrepreneurs. When you have a business, if you want to stay on budget, because we're talking about money and we're talking about being strategic with our budget, if you want to make sure you have cash flow, money left over at the end of the month, staying in the green, staying in positive, another thing you can do, just like personal budget strategies, you got to treat business budget strategies in a similar manner of being careful, being cautious of what's coming in and what you have going out. And one advice that I would give any business owner, any entrepreneur, when you first start off, especially those first 3 to 5 years, I wouldn't really be in a rush. I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but I personally wouldn't be in a rush to spend my profits on myself in like a way of splurging. If I had to spend my profits, if I had to spend my cash flow on my business, first I'm going to be thinking, what can I do to grow the business? Or where can I put this liquidity? Where can I put these funds that if my business doesn't have a high, and let's say the next month or two may be low, or this is the season where business is slow, where can I park this cash or this money strategically so that if my business has some rough patches, I have some protection, I have a buffer, I have some padding for those difficult months. So many times, business owners, entrepreneurs, they make a little money and they're in a rush to spend the money as if it's not going to stop, as if it's not going to have highs and lows. And sometimes people forget about the overhead that comes along with it, or money that you have to reinvest back in your business to expand it and grow. That way you don't hit a cap. That way you don't hit a point and you can't go any further. Sometimes you have to reinvest back into the business. So my advice is for the first 3 to 5 years, be very, very careful with your profits. Don't be in a rush to spend them. Sit them off to the side until you can figure out what to do with them strategically. So as we continue, we're getting close to the end here. We talked about studying the highs and lows, making your business be sustainable by not spending up the money. Oh, yeah. And I give everybody one last update. We were talking about entrepreneurs one Saturday. Might have been like 3 Saturdays ago. We were talking about entrepreneurs' mentality. That's what it was. The mentality of an entrepreneur. And on that Saturday morning, 9 a.m., which of course, that's when I go live every Saturday morning. This is just a little different. I normally don't go live Sunday evenings, but I just decided to today. I'm pretty pumped up. We're getting close to 300 subscribers, and I can't wait to give away $50 when we get to 300 subscribers. Make sure you share this. So as you're a subscriber and other people subscribe, we can get to the point where one of y'all are going to get the money. So you increase the chances of getting the money as you continue to share this information and tell everybody else about Coach Steele's finance training. And I think every time we hit a point, I think I'm going to do something like that, like do some type of giveaway, financial giveaway, every time we hit a new plateau. So update on my entrepreneurship. And of course, about 3 Saturdays ago, and of course, you can find this video on the YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training. I was talking about the mentality of an entrepreneur. It's a great video, and it talked about a few things that you have to be an entrepreneur that'll be beneficial for you. And I was telling everyone about how you have to persevere and be strategic with your finances. And I was mentioning how I had 2 of my properties. So I have a few rental properties. 2 of them were vacant because my tenants moved out. So when the tenants moved out, that meant the next month, as they're not there and I don't receive any rent from them on the 1st through the 5th, if those properties have a mortgage or some type of expense attached to them, it had to come out of my pocket. It had to come from me to cover down and pay it because the tenants are no longer bringing the cash flow from those two properties. Now, if I was not doing well, if I was not planning strategically, I would have spent up all the money or depleted the rent that I received months prior. But understanding what was happening and being able to plan in advance and know that tenants come and go, I did not spend the money. So therefore, I had a certain amount of money in the account, in that business account, so that when the tenants moved out, I could cover down and pay it. The update is out of the two properties, one is no longer vacant and it's now scheduled for tenants to move in. So I'm excited about that. As you see, we're getting ready to come towards the end of August and we're getting ready to go in September. So guess what? I have another more expenses to pay on those two properties, but one of them is no longer vacant and is under contract. And so I'm excited. Got some tenants moving in. I need to get the other one under contract and I'm going to be a happy camper. But so I'm practicing what I preach when I'm talking to you, and the fact that you have to sit money to the side for those rainy days in your business. And so that's just that update. Everyone continue to reach your financial goals. Tony, I don't know if you're going to let everyone know when you reach the $50,000 on here, because then we might all be asking you for money. So I don't know how we're going to handle that. Sam, when you get your real estate, don't know how we're going to handle that. We definitely will celebrate that on here as well and let everyone know. And then you can have a housewarming and a big party and all that good stuff as well. So appreciate everyone for tuning in today. And we had an amazing time, great interaction with Sam, with Tony, and everyone else that was listening in. It was awesome. I think we made a lot of progress. And I love the subject of, like we talked about, evaluating that 401k and what it takes to retire. We can dig a little bit deeper on that another day, on how much do you believe you're going to need to retire, and compare it to IRAs, 401ks, or passive income to see what we have coming in. Sam says, let me know. And do you have a set schedule? You go live? Yes, I go live every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. It's all love right back at you, Mr. Tony Sherman. And of course, guys, Sam, every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone, I go live consistently every Saturday morning. Throughout the week, I drop other videos on my YouTube channel. So if you're subscribed, you'll get all of those as they come in. Just like Monday or Tuesday, you'll see the dividend video. And I'll probably drop another one. And then every once in a while during the week, sometimes I'm on other podcasts or financial literacy shows as well. And some of those, I'm going to start pulling certain things that I do from them and add them to my YouTube channel as well, so that people who miss out, if I'm on a different platform, they'll be able to catch some of those excerpts on my platform as I draw some of those minutes and moments from there as well. All right, everyone, I appreciate you tuning in. It's all love. Coach Steele's Finance Training. Share this information with someone else so that they can tune in, jump in, fix their financial situation, and we get to where we need to be together. It's been a blessing, and I enjoyed it. We'll have to do this again. Remember, every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. We got to get to 300 subscribers so I can give that